The magic of touch. Too often we underestimate the power of touch. Leo Buscaglia. The moment we're born, we crave touch. Touch has an almost intoxicating effect on the human body. A woman runs her hand through your hair, then softly touches your chest before kissing you. A bolt of electricity shoots down your spine and you feel wonderful as a wave of oxytocin courses through your body. Touch expresses your intentions and desires in a way that words cannot. There's no need to tell a woman that you want to become intimate with her. If you touch her the right way, she'll know what you're thinking. Touch wields enormous power and influence. If you ask someone to do something for you and touch the person at the same time, that person is much more likely to comply with your request. Studies into influence and touch have confirmed this finding. One study found that a man who asked a woman for her phone number and followed his request with a light touch on the arm was much more likely to gain compliance from the woman and get her phone number. Another interesting study examined what would happen when a man asked a woman to dance in a nightclub. The study found that a man's request was more likely to be accepted if the man touched the woman on the arm for 1 to 2 seconds before asking her to dance. The implications of this study are far-reaching and powerful. What is it about touch that increases a woman's compliance? In both of these experiments, after the woman complied with the man's request to either get her phone number or dance, the woman was asked to fill out a survey to explain her feelings during the experiment. The women explained that they felt as though the man who touched her was more confident, and as a result, they felt more inclined to comply with his request. Further research into this phenomenon has found that touch creates feelings of attraction in both men and women. Not only does touch build attraction, touch also makes a woman's heart beat faster and leads to increased feelings of desire, especially when accompanied by eye contact. Only one question remains. Are you bold enough and confident enough to touch a woman the right way? Touch a woman the right way, and you pour rocket fuel on the flames of attraction. Touch her the wrong way, however, and there's a good chance you'll turn her off and she'll lose attraction for you. In the same way, if you touch a woman too frequently and too soon, you run the risk of smothering the woman and making her feel uncomfortable. The same applies if your touch is clumsy. A lack of finesse will make you look uncertain and unsure of yourself. When you touch a woman, you must touch her with confidence and boldness. You must reach out to her and commit to the touch. Allow her to feel you, if only for a brief second, before pulling away. With this in mind, when you first start dating a woman, there's no need to be distant. Hug a woman. Embrace her. Allow her to feel you because your touch sets the tone for the rest of the encounter. If you sit beside a woman while watching a movie, lean in and touch her on the arm whenever you say something. The same applies if you go for dinner or go out for drinks. Sit beside your date and position yourself so your hand can brush up against her hand. Don't attempt to kiss a woman in public or smother her with excessive touching. Doing so will only ruin the seduction and build resistance. Your goal, as with all seductions, is to be patient and build the fire of attraction into a raging inferno. When you touch a woman's hand, forearm, shoulder, or back, you put her at ease and give her a sense of comfort. Even if she pulls away from you or tells you that you're moving too fast, the fact that she's still with you shows that she wants you to keep trying. There will be occasions when you touch a woman and she doesn't respond. She might even cross her arms and physically pull away from you. Expect a degree of resistance, especially early on, but don't let it stop you from pushing for intimacy. A woman will never punish you for trying to have sex with her. She'll only punish you if you apologize for your actions. Going back on your actions is a form of weakness and a huge turnoff to women. As a man, you must be bold and push for physical intimacy, even if you encounter resistance. Resistance, after all, is simply a woman's way of testing you. Case study number 19. Never seek a woman's touch. Alex and Grace had been together for almost 6 blissful months when one day, while walking down the street, Grace unexpectedly pulled away from Alex and let go of his hand. Alex immediately felt unsettled and anxious. "Why is she pulling away from me?" he thought. "Have I done something wrong?" "Are you okay?" Alex asked. "I'm fine," Grace replied as she continued to walk beside him with her arms folded across her chest. Later that week, Alex and Grace were sitting on the couch, watching TV, with their arms wrapped around each other, when Grace suddenly pulled away from Alex and moved over to the far side of the couch. "You okay?" Alex asked, an edge of anxiety creeping into his voice. "Uh-huh," Grace muttered, staring at the TV. "You're not getting away that easy," Alex said as he shuffled over towards Grace and wrapped his arms around her, holding her firmly from behind. Grace immediately stiffened and pulled away. "What is it? What's wrong?" "Why do you have to touch me all the time?" Grace said. "I'm not." "What's wrong with you?" Grace snapped. "Why are you so clingy?" "I'm not clingy. Why do you keep pulling away from me?" Alex said as a well of emotion built up inside him. "Wait, oh my God, are you crying?" "No." "You are." Alex turned his head, but it was too late. Grace had already seen the tears. "Stop being so sensitive," Grace said. "I'm not," Alex shot back. Grace got up from the couch and grabbed her keys off the table. "God, you're acting like a woman. It's so unattractive." There will be moments in a relationship when a woman purposefully holds back, making it a point to introduce distance between the two of you. She neither reaches for you nor welcomes your touch. This has the effect of bringing a certain level of tension and anxiety into the relationship. "Why doesn't she want to touch me? Is she pulling away from me?" the man thinks. And with that, the man reaches out to try and close the distance, wondering all along why the woman doesn't want to touch him and why she's being so cold. There are many reasons why a woman might act this way. She might be testing you to see how you'll react. Will you feel uncomfortable and insecure, or will you remain strong and unaffected by her withdrawal? At other times, she might simply be asking for space. In both situations, you must let a woman pull away from you without feeling the need to reach out and seek her touch. At this stage, it's important to distinguish between two different types of touch. Brief touching on the arm, shoulder, and back is closely aligned with flirtatious, non-needy, playful behavior. On the other hand, holding a woman's hand, hugging, and embracing is more closely aligned with needy, clingy behavior. Initiate the second type of touch too frequently, and the woman will come to think that you need her more than she needs you. Once this realization sets in, the woman's attraction for you will inevitably fade. Research published in the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin observed that women rated men who displayed traits of neediness and insecurity as extremely unattractive. How can a woman trust you when all she has to do is withdraw her touch to upset you? The secure and confident man never seeks a woman's touch for comfort or validation. Case study number 20. Too timid to touch. Sarah, an elegant woman in her mid-30s, was talking to two men, Richard and Joe, at the same time. It was Richard, however, who made the first move, inviting Sarah out for coffee over the weekend. When Sarah and Richard started talking to each other, they were both struck by how much they had in common. For one, they had both graduated from the same college. They also loved the same kind of movies and the same kind of music. Sarah had a great feeling about Richard. He was the perfect gentleman. He didn't try to touch her or come on too strong. Instead, he appeared to be genuinely interested in who she was and what she had to say. A couple of days later, Sarah accepted Joe's invitation to go out for dinner. The moment Joe picked her up, Sarah was taken aback by his brash behavior. Right from the start, Joe came across as selfish and self-centered. Sarah didn't care for his manners either. When they got to the restaurant, She noted with dismay that Joe never once said please or thank you to the waitstaff. To make matters worse, Joe didn't even seem that interested in anything she had to say, and he even openly disagreed with her on several occasions. Sarah didn't like his attitude, but despite the many red flags, there was something about Joe that intrigued her. Yes, he was rude and arrogant. That was true. But he was also interesting. He flirted like crazy and didn't hesitate when it came to touching her. When she got home, Sarah felt confused. She had nothing in common with Joe, but she had still enjoyed their time together. When Richard called to schedule another date, Sarah was surprised to discover that she no longer had any interest in seeing him. Richard seemed so flat and lifeless in comparison to Joe. Asshole or not, Joe was exciting and fun to be around. For better or worse, he was exactly the type of guy Sarah found attractive. Why did Sarah choose Joe over Richard? The answer, again, comes down to attraction. Sarah felt a greater level of attraction for Joe compared to Richard. Joe's body language and actions were bolder and more confident. He wasn't afraid to call her out and disagree with her, and he wasn't afraid to signal his interest by touching her. This was in stark contrast to Richard, who came across as timid and shy in comparison. When you're out on a date, talking is the easy part. Taking the interaction from friendly chit-chat to playful touch, however, is what separates the attractive man from the unattractive man. Your ability to escalate the interaction and become physical with a woman is of paramount importance. A woman knows you're interested in her the moment you ask her out. Why not demonstrate your interest in a physical way? After all, she's not dating you because she wants to be your friend.